Well, here I am sitting at Mind Valley U, and I am going to run through my little practice session that Eric has given us to do and go and do an overview of my talk. So, first of all, obviously, being here at Mind Valley University means that we talk a lot about community and connection. And I know that there are so many people who are attending here who are meeting the most incredible people, and they would love to be able to spend more time with this group of people. 1 week, 2 weeks, it's not quite enough, because some of the relationships that we're building are relationships that are going to need and deserve more time. And so one of the things that I want to speak to you about is, what if you could actually spend more time with these people? What if you could gather up these incredible Mind Valley like-minded folks that you've met and spend a week or 2 weeks or a month? Perhaps you get your speaking and mastery group together and you rent a place in Mexico and you finish your one talk workshop. Or you get the group together that's buying the book and you get together for a month and you finish writing your book. The point is being about community. The point is being in proximity and in an environment where you're with like-minded people and you can really soak up that energy. It's the thing that we're missing the most these days, and that thing, of course, is what I'm talking about, is community. And I have been just so, oh my gosh, just amazed at the community that Vishen and his team has built. And now I'd like to be part of the movement that takes it to the next step. So I'm Liza Rogers. I'm a coach, I'm a connector, and a community builder, and I want to show you how you can build your village your way. How you can jump onto the remote work and laptop lifestyle train, if that's what you want to do, and spend 6 months overseas in a sunny destination with people that are your affinity group. We're seeing this happen all the time. Remote work is not going away. I work with successful people who are living the dream. They have everything. They have the great job. They have the car. They have the home. But a lot of them are missing community. And so this idea of creating your own village, it's not anything new. It's where we actually came from. We came from the village. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how we left the village. So in my talk, I am going to show you how to work on creating a village, eliminate some of the loneliness that you're feeling because of the proximity and the environment that you're in. Save some time, use your time better, because when you've got a village, you don't have to do all of the work on your own. You get to share tasks and rewards. To be a witness to people, because so many people are not being seen. I'm going to share a story about witnessing that's very close to my heart. I'm also going to share with you how being part of the village creates a better housing system. I come from a real estate background, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that, and how you don't have to own real estate, but the idea of home in the village is very powerful. And the home can be a little bit of the anchor piece that brings your village together, but it doesn't have to be owned. It can just as easily be leased. You could do it from a hotel for 3 months if that was your jam, and that's often what I do. So saving time, saving energy, saving money, there's so many things that come, so many great benefits that come from being in the village. So here we go. Let's talk a little bit about how we left the village. It happened mostly after World War II. Before then, we lived close to family. We lived close to our jobs. The were jobs. I mean, it was more farming. It was more just being right in the village. But after World War II, we needed to stimulate the economy, especially in North America. And so highways, cars, and the subdivisions were born. And it drove us out of the rural areas and into the cities and into the suburbs. And we lived in our silos, and we created success in our silos. But now we have realized that success in our silos has actually created an epidemic of loneliness. I'm not saying anything new. We're talking about this all the time these days. Everybody talks about the epidemic of loneliness. Men are struggling in particular, and there's a whole mission right now to get men back into the village. We need the guys too. One of the things that I love to share is this little story about working on cruise ships. So people say, oh, you worked on cruise ships. Oh my goodness, how is that related to this? The interesting thing is, working on cruise ships is the ultimate village. There are generally 50 nationalities working on a cruise ship. And yes, there's a hierarchy. There's a hierarchy in most villages. There's a hierarchy in most homes. On the cruise ship, your captain, your boss, your boyfriend, and your ex-boyfriend all live about 3 minutes away. And so you have to learn to work together. You have to learn to communicate. You have to learn what's best for the overall village. And in this case, it's the crew and the staff and the guests all combined. How do they work together to create a cohesive community and give people on that ship an incredible experience? And I really did learn so much working on that ship about culture and about acceptance and about tolerance and about the luck of where you were born, and seeing people who were absolutely passionate about increasing their profiles and their opportunities by coming and working on the ships. So we did leave the village. We're finding ways to get back to the village. And I think it's so important that we, as a community at Mindvalley, start to walk the talk in terms of how we create our own village, and let's actually make that happen. So the next point that I want to make to you is just a little point about witnessing. Now, we used to be seen maybe too much. Now we're seen online, and it's a completely different energy. And so this idea of witnessing, it's such an important thing that I think we need to really bring it back to the forefront. There are so many people who go through their whole life without properly being seen, and that has to stop. We need to be willing to witness people at their best and their worst, and we need to also be witnessed. And I'm going to share a time about my mom. It's a very personal story, and it was a time from when I was starting my business, and I was very busy. I was living in Victoria, Canada, and she was on the mainland, and she was coming over to visit me for the weekend. Now, I'm going to give you the very short version of this story, but if you're really interested, come and say hi, and I'll tell you the longer version. But basically, Prince William and Princess Kate were in town in Victoria, and I was too busy, and my mom went off in the morning and saw them, and she was so excited. They passed her and saw her, and that was great, and she was excited. And she came home, and she was getting ready to go out and see them again. And I actually said to her, "Okay, Mom, off you go. You know, I'm too busy. I can't join you. I'm starting this new business." Anyway, I changed my mind. My mom is my why, and I realized that, you know, I can't have my mom as my why and not go out and be with her and witness some important things in her life. Now, again, I'm not going to get into all the details, but let's just say the witnessing that I was able to offer to my mom, because she had a full conversation with Prince William. She had a handshake with Kate that ended up in the national newspapers, and she was on the news talking about her experience. I got all of that on video and in pictures, and I was the one who helped bring Prince William over to her direction to have a conversation with her. If I had not been with her to witness her and escalate the reason that she was my why, the experience wouldn't have been anywhere near that it was. And now it's something that all of her friends know about, all of our family knows about. In fact, most of the world saw it because it was in global newspapers with this little petite British lady shaking Princess Kate's hand. And so I just want to give you a reminder of how important it is to be a witness. We need to witness people, we need to be witnessed, and it's okay to be in that position where we're either asking or offering to be a witness. It's all part of being community. I want to touch on real estate for a minute. Real estate is something that I've been doing for many years. I started a company called WREN, the Women's Real Estate Network, and for the last 10 years we have collaboratively bought properties together. We have bought condos, we have bought fourplexes, we've bought small apartment buildings, and now we're actively looking at purchasing hotels for the express idea of having community and also building some income as a return on that investment. Now, I'm not going to go into, again, too many of the details here, but I want to just share with you that the shift that I'm making into building community still means that you can have real estate as your anchor. So, for example, I met Rasmus, who owns a castle in Italy, and he's doing weddings there, and he invites 80 people a year. He owns that castle. Now, you could just as easily create an experience for your village by leasing a property. You could lease a castle and test drive having your village. You don't have to jump into owning real estate as a way to create your village, but the real estate can offer a little bit of an anchor because it's a secure piece of land that you can visit and hold on to and will appreciate over time. And there's a lot of benefits in there. But I don't want us to get stuck on the real estate piece of it. It's a part of it, and we teach a lot of it, but it's not the key point. The key point is about creating your community. With real estate, as I say, I've been in it for over 10 years. I've raised lots of capital. I've learned all the lessons. I've made many mistakes. And it gives you an idea on how to learn how to build a business, because if you own real estate, you own a business. And so it really does give you an opportunity to put your hand into running a proper business. So the last thing I want to just leave you with today is the mistakes I've made. I think it's really important that you learn from people who have made mistakes. If you are talking to people who can't share their failures with you, they haven't yet learned the hard lessons. And I can tell you, I have learned the hard lessons. I've been in some legal battles. I have brought the wrong people into my village. And I have learned that it really takes time to do your due diligence and to look at building your community as a little bit of a business. There's so many of us here that are heart-centered, and we want to just take everyone as wonderful at face value, but we really do need to take the time to ensure that we are not only feeling with our heart, but also with our heads, and making sure that when you decide to build your village, you're going to be potentially inviting people into your life for a very long period of time. And if you do go so far as to leasing or buying real estate together, you're creating a business that's also going to need an exit strategy. And you need to get that exit strategy done before you actually go and make the purchase. So I can teach you from the mistakes. I've got an incredible team. I keep attracting more and more people from around the world who we add to the team, who can teach you about how things work in their local economy so that you understand how the local villages work, who to talk to in the municipalities, who else to make friends within the village. And so if you're really interested in creating and building your own village, I would love to invite you to come and join mine. I can teach you how to build your village your way with your people. So come hang out in mine for a little while, and let's help build a village together. Thank you very much.